So welcome to today's video. We are taking a look at this 24 pan set from Van Gogh. Van Gogh is a brand that belongs to the company Royal Talents, which is a company from the Netherlands. This is their student grade paints. Rembrandt is their artist grade paints, and they also have a cheaper line as well, which I have a set from, where I will make a different separate video about those. To Royal Talents also belong other brands like Sakra, the jelly roll pens, for example, or the formerly German company Feintek, which is still in Germany. The production is still the same, but the company was sold to Royal Talents a few years back. So like you have seen, the pans are loose. So if you drop your set, they will fall out. And also the color cakes can come out as well, out of the pan, which you have a little bit to be a little bit careful while handling it. Otherwise, I can speak of experience. It is really hard to get them all situated back correctly, because if you have 10 color cakes out and they all look black, then you have, in the worst case, you have to re-wet them all and try them out. So that's my negative point. Of course, it is also plastic. That's also a different thing. My set is a few years old, so of course, sometimes brands do change the color selection or pigments and stuff, just to be aware of. As you could see, you really don't have to scrub a lot. They re-wet like a dream. It's super easy. You have a lot of color on your brush. You don't have to, like I said, pre-wet them. Only use a wet brush and go over the color 2 or 3 times, and you have tons of pigment on your brush. The first color was Chinese White, PW4, 3 of 3 stars. They have a 3-star light fastness rating with sorry, with 3 stars as the highest light fastness. So the next is Permanent Lemon Yellow, PY 184, 3 of 3 stars. And there we have our perfect primary lemon yellow, which in sets like this, which are tended or meant to be starter sets. So if you don't have any colors, that you can take the set and start working. For me, in sets like that, it is always important that we have a warm and a cool version of the primary colors. And we are missing one. I will come later to that, but in the yellows we have warms and we have a cool version, so we have a good mixture here. The next is Azo Yellow Light, 3 of 3 stars, PY 154 and PW6. So it is a yellow and white mixture. Then the next color is Azo Yellow Deep, also 3 of 3 stars. We have here also the same pigments as in the Azo Yellow Light, but in combination with a PO42, PO43, I'm sorry, which is a orange pigment. So as I mentioned, sometimes company changes pigments in their colors or also the color selections in sets. And there is one color in the set where I know for sure that the company either has already changed the formulation, the pigment combination, or there will be in near future, because there is one pigment which is now discontinued. This will be in the Gogh. I will tell you this in a minute. When it comes to quality in student grade paints, Van Gogh is definitely one of the top-notch student grade paints you can buy. I love Van Gogh colors a lot, and they are also very good in their accessibility all over the world. I've seen people color with Van Gogh paints from Europe to America to Asia, so to Australia. So I guess they are definitely available. I have also seen professional artists which doing their paintings with Van Gogh colors. So I think that says a lot about the quality. Of course, it is a student grade paint, so you definitely have a lower pigment ratio. You have fillers, but you have all over the Van Gogh line. It is the line with the student grade line with the most colors. In all brands. I think it is 72 or so, or it was a few years back. I'm not sure. I think they added some metallic colors. And also most of the colors are very, very light fast. So that is a really, really big plus. Also, you get all the colors as single pans or tubes as well. This is the color I meant, which definitely will have a change if it hasn't already. It is Gamboge, 3 of 3 stars. It's a combination of PY 154 and PO 48. PO 48 is being discontinued since 2022, I think. At least I think it was around fall 22. It is a quinacridone, a burnt orange pigment. Sadly, it is being discontinued. If you have missed out on the color, I can highly recommend buying a tube of, for example, Daniel Smith. They are still offering the pigment because they have bought all the world supply which was available, and they said they have enough pigment to work with it for the next 10 to 15 years. So you can buy the pigment still. Highly recommended because it is a very beautiful and very unique pigment. But most brands don't have a big supply. A lot of brands also have already changed their formulations. So that is definitely a color that will change, just to be aware of. The orange was permanent orange, 3 of 3 stars, which is a mixture of PY 154 and PO 73. PO 73 we will also see in the color I'm swatching just now, which is a combination of PR 255 and PO 73, 3 of 3 stars. They call it vermilion. Most vermilion are either a PR 255 or a PR 108. Also, most PR 108 alternatives are also made with the PR 255, which is a pyrrole red. But what I wanted to say in case of the PO 73 is that there are light fast and not so light fast versions of this pigment, and you can't be 100% sure which versions the companies use normally, but with a brand like Van Gogh, I would at least trust this brand a lot more than other brands in the department too, that they probably use a light fast version of the pigment. So at least I don't have ever heard anything about that their versions aren't light fast, and I haven't had any problems so far. If you have any information otherwise, please let me know. So the color here now is Permanent Red Light. This is their single pigment version of the PR 255. Like I said, it is a pyrrole red, 3 of 3 stars. I personally love this or cadmium red light a lot because I use it in a super diluted version as my first shadow layer in my skin colorations. So it is a color I use tons. So happy to have it here. Then we have the Permanent Red Deep, which is a PR 159, 3 of 3 stars. And I must say, I really, really like this color because it seems like a very transparent red. Not a completely transparent, but at least a very transparent red, at least in my swatch here. And that is something which is not there aren't a lot of very transparent reds. Most reds are at least semi-transparent or semi-opaque or opaque-ish, with exception of the magenta department. But in the warmer reds, most aren't super transparent, so that is always nice to have more transparent versions. Let's say it like that. And the color itself is one I think it is very, very beautiful. So then we have the Meadow Lake Deep. Of course, it is not a genuine Meadow Lake because genuine Meadow Lake, first, it isn't as dark normally. It is more of a light rose color, and also it isn't light fast. We have here a hue which is made of PR 264, 3 of 3 stars, very beautiful, super dark, cooler red. Very nice to have. Especially with dark reds, it is always not so easy because there aren't a lot of very dark red pigments, so it is nice to have one. Then we have here our primary red quinacridone rose PV 19. That is your most used magenta pigment, 3 of 3 stars. Definitely one of the colors I use the most. So it is, for me personally, it is super essential to have a light fast magenta like that. I personally don't mind if it is a PV19 quin rose, or if you have a quinacridone pink, which is a PR 122 or so. But most brands use the PV19. So we definitely have here warm and cool yellows. We have warm and cool reds. Now there is my big negative point in the color selection department. You don't have a single pigment phthalo blue, which means you don't have a perfect cyan in this set. That is definitely my big negative point. You could have easily swapped either the cerulean blue here or the next color, because they're both hues, and it would definitely have been a better choice to include a phthalo blue, in my personal opinion. We have here a cerulean blue, and I have in, oh, I don't know what are those called in English. I have to look. Bracket clamps, I don't know, of phthalo, cerulean blue, phthalo. If someone knows how to use this signs, what are they called correctly in English, please let me know. It is a PB 15 So phthalo blue mixture with a PW6, also so a white pigment, 3 stars. And of course, you don't have genuine cobalt pigments in student grade sets because cobalt pigments are super expensive. So they are always hues. They are at least honest here and put the phthalo behind the name, so you know it is a phthalo-based color. But we have a white in here. If you would have phthalo blue, you would be much more versatile because you would have first at all a color which can make this very light cerulean blue-ish colors or light cyan colors, but also a color which is completely can be very dark. And also you would have a complete transparent color, which you here have not. And you could have mixed this version with the white in the set easily. So yeah, it is a bit redundant. If you would have at least the phthalo blue, the single pigment phthalo blue, that would have definitely be a better choice. The second color I've swatched here, the second blue, is the cobalt blue hue. They call it cobalt blue, and then again the signs, the clamps, or what else you call them, ultramarine. So it is an ultramarine based cobalt blue hue, PB29 and PW6, also 3 stars, also a color which is not necessarily needed in the set because you have ultramarine blue single pigment at least. This is the color I swatched just now. They call it ultramarine deep, PB29, 3 stars. You also have a white, so you could have easily done this yourself. But like I said, the phthalo blue would have been nice in the blue selection. The ultramarine blue deep, they have tends a little bit more towards violetish. I guess they probably heated it a little bit longer than maybe other companies. So it has this slight violetish under touch. I personally like it. I think it is very beautiful. Probably not everyone's choice. They have, I think, a lighter ultramarine blue as well. So if that's not your preferred one, you could swap that one. So the last blue here is, of course, Prussian blue, because PB27 is a very cheap pigment and there aren't a lot of very, very dark blues, and this is definitely the cheapest option. So that is always the choice for most companies to include in either student or artist grade sets. And like every brand I know, they've rated it as a perfect light fastness with 3 stars. And I've mentioned this a lot in the past already, but I never know if the person who are looking are people who have seen all of my other videos or some of my other videos, or are new to the channel. So that's why I mention it always again. This is not a light fast pigment. Doesn't matter that all companies say it is definitely not. This is a color that will fade if you put your picture on the wall and expose it to any kind of light. It will not fade completely, and it will recover at least some parts of it if you put it in a dark drawer or dark closet for a while, but it will never go back to its full darkness. And it is something I just want you to be aware of. It is a absolute beautiful color. I love it. I use it a lot, but not in artwork I want to hang up on a wall. So then we have an absolute stunning version of a sap green, which I love very much. It is a combination of PY 129, which most people know as green gold, and a PG7, which is a phthalo green. So it is a complete transparent, very beautiful, natural looking green, 3 stars. They offer a single pigment PY 129 I know it is not named green gold. It is something like azomethine irgendwas, something. I am not so sure at the moment. Just so if you are searching for green gold, you won't find a pigment under this name. I know for sure they have it because I have a tube of it. So that you can definitely buy it, which is a complete transparent yellow, which is very rare, but with a light greenish touch. But if you use it as a watered down mixing color in any mixtures, you normally don't have any problems with the greenish part. The second green is called permanent green, 3 of 3 stars, PG7 and PY 154. And the same pigment combination we have with the dark green I swatched just now. It is Hooker's Green Deep, also, of course, 3 of 3 stars. It is the same pigments. The dark green, I think, is a very beautiful, more on the natural side green. The other one is more of a very bright, more unnatural looking green. That is probably something where a lot of people say it wouldn't be necessary because it doesn't look natural. You can't use it very well in botanicals or landscape and stuff like that. Yeah, of course, in a set with 24 colors, there are colors where you say where people say I wouldn't have needed it, or I'm happy that it is included. We don't have any purples in here, so that would have been also a color like the cerulean or the ultramarine blue, where at least some people say I would have preferred a purple. But yeah, like I said, that is mostly personal preference. Then we have a PG7 phthalo green. They call it Viridian. Here, the negative point, it is not in any version signed as a hue. That is, of course, not a genuine Viridian. You never find genuine Viridian in student grade paints because it is also a very expensive pigment. It is a granulating, much more delicate, lighter version of a phthalo greenish color. I know that most people also say about phthalo green, it is redundant, it is unnatural looking green, you can't use it. But for me personally, it is one of the most underrated pigments because you can so easily mix very, very beautiful, natural looking greens if you use it as a mixing base. Add some burnt sienna, burnt umber, or some kind of oranges to it, and you have absolutely stunning, beautiful, natural looking greens. For example, in combination with burnt sienna or burnt umber, you get lighter or darker versions of olive greens, and that is something I use a lot. So yeah, I'm always happy to have a PG7 in my sets. So then we have our super basic yellow ochre PY42. This is a synthetic version of the yellow iron oxide. As all iron oxide pigments, it has 3 of 3 stars. Then we have our burnt sienna PR101, which is the synthetic red iron oxide, also, of course, 3 of 3 stars. They they have perfectly put all my most used browns in this set. So that is a brown choice I really, really like because yellow ochre, burnt sienna, burnt umber, and then either a sepia or Van Dyke brown as the very, very dark browns is my preferred choice, and that is what they have included here. We have a burnt umber, 3 of 3 stars, and that is something I found absolutely stunning, that a student grade set here has a single pigment burnt umber PBR7, which I absolutely love because a lot of companies don't have a single pigment PBR7. Daniel Smith or Winsor Newton Professional, for example, they have 2 or 3 pigment mixes for their burnt umber, which I think is just so unnecessary. You have PBR7s, which are nearly black, so dark can the pigment be, depending on where you mine it. So yeah, I don't understand artist grade ranges which uses 2 or 3 pigments to get to this beautiful chocolatey brown colors. So yeah, super big plus for Van Gogh for using a single pigment PBR7 for their burnt umber. It is a very beautiful version as well. Like it a lot. So and then last color here in the brown department is the sepia. Of course, it is not a genuine sepia because the genuine sepia is not light fast. So all companies use some kind of hues. They always have their own kind of mixture. So sepia like Van Dyke brown or other pigments which have been substituted because of their poor light fastness mostly are depending on the brand. They use their own versions. Payne's Gray, for example, is also a color combination which every company uses their own versions, or neutral tint, for example. So in this case, we have a 3-star in light fastness rating. We have a PPK7, which is a carbon-based, mostly from burnt plants, a black pigment, and a PR 101. And at our last color, we have the Payne's Gray, and that is something I absolutely love about a set, that they don't have the generic ivory black, because two important points of that is, the first is I absolutely don't like warm blacks. Ivory black is a warm black. I prefer my blacks to be neutral or cool. And 90% of the sets include, when they include a black, they include ivory black, especially if it isn't a specialized set and it is a kind of starter set like this set is. So to have a black that is not ivory black is pretty rare. So big plus here for Van Gogh. Their Payne's Gray here has a 3-star light fastness rating and is a mixture of PBK 6, which is a lamp black, and a PV 19, which is a quin rose. So the second big plus is, if you don't have an ivory black, this is often the color which makes a whole set not vegan. I am personally not vegan, but I know a lot of people are. And originally it was made of ivory. Of course, that is not allowed today for good reasons. But it is still made of burnt animal bones. And of course, that makes the ivory black not vegan. So you can have a complete vegan set and then have an ivory black and ruin it for every vegan out there. So that is something which is a big problem, in my opinion, in starter sets, because most, like I said, include ivory black. So this set doesn't include an ivory black, at least from my information. I don't know anything that Van Gogh uses any animal products. So if I'm wrong there, of course, correct me please. But as far as my information goes, Van Gogh colors are vegan. So we don't have an ivory black in the set. We don't have any other pigments which are animal based. So yeah, that is definitely very good to know for people who are dependent on vegan sets. Yeah, so I hope that this video was helpful and informative for you. I would be very grateful for a thumbs up or a follow, because it really helps me and the channel. I would absolutely love to know if you have Van Gogh colors. Which set do you have? Or if you have some single paints. how are your experiences with it, and would you love to buy some colors from Van Gogh after seeing this video? Like I said, in department of the quality, it is highest possible grade in student grade paints. I can absolutely not say anything negative about the quality of the paints. I absolutely love to use them. And they are also very affordable. That is something important I wanted to tell. Of course, prices are different in different countries. Here in Germany, I pay 2 euros for a half pen, which is 1.5 milliliters. And I pay 3 euros, so just 1 euro more for a tube, which contains 10 milliliters. So, in my personal opinion, don't buy the half pens, buy the tubes, because you get for so less money more, a lot of more milliliters in colors. So only 1 euro more, and you get the, I don't know, 6 times 6 times the color. I'm not very good at math. I would have to need to separately calculate that, but I think you know what I mean. It is a lot more color in a 10 milliliter tube than in a half pen, and it is just 1 euro more here. Of course, like I said, prices are different, but I know that the brand is a very cheap brand in most areas of the world. This set here costs in Germany around 42 euros. Of course, that is different depending where you live. I will put a universal Amazon link to this product. So doesn't matter where you live. When you click on the link, it will search this specific set in the Amazon in your country. So yeah, I hope this was helpful. Like I said, thank you so much for watching the video. Have a nice day, and hopefully see you soon in one of my other videos. Bye bye.